So when you guys hear the words college dropout, where does your brain go, right? College dropout, where's your brain going? Mark Zuckerberg? Could be. Could be Mark Zuckerberg. Could be Bill Gates. Could be maybe college dropout, obviously, dude, Kanye West. Don't know why you- I just want you to get, oh, dude, it could be Dwight Howard too. Dwight Howard's a sneaky college dropout, first name you think of when you hear college dropout. But I'm here to tell you that top of your list should be Hernan Cortes, dude. I don't want you to forget about Hernan Cortes. College dropout, turned notary, turned, I don't even know what he was in Cuba, turned infiltrating the Yucatan Peninsula, turned Montezuma into his bitch, dude. Turned all of Azteca España, dude. Like that. Like that. It was a short period of time, dude. I think it was under 2 years. Didn't finish the book, not gonna lie. Um, but it's crazy, yeah. College dropout, you wouldn't think of Hernan Cortez as such, but he was, man. He really was. And some might say, I don't know if I would say, but when you really look into the story, it was God's plan, dude. It was God's plan. And the way I learned it in school, in a very short period, I'm sure I heard one or two sentences that I formed in my brain on hindsight bias now that I've read this book, and that my previous teacher didn't know shit about fucking Hernan Cortez. Fuck you, dude. You should have learned about him. Here I am talking shit now. Here I am talking shit. But it was kind of God's plan. It was kind of God's plan. He entered the Yucatan, was started immediately fucking shit up. And it was crazy because he'd start fighting their localized tribes. And obviously the tribes would fight back. They'd be like, foreigners are coming into our lands. We got to fight back. And they'd lose and be like, oh, we only lost because you guys were white. We've never seen white people. You guys are divine. That's the only reason why we lost. You guys are divine. You guys are gods. That's why we lost. But he started making alliances like immediately. He was very, very, very thoughtful in terms of like his strategy, very forward thinking on his alliances, how he would treat people. Fast forward, he's making moves, ends up in, forget the name of the city, but it's present day Mexico City. And Montezuma obviously knew he had spies out there, knew Hernan Cortez was pulling up. And so Montezuma's like, this guy's like, he basically, if we're putting into UFC terms, he's like Kamaru Usman coming up. No one's trying to fight him right now. So he's like, let's just make peace, dude. We'll hit some Twitter beef real quick, but dude, everyone knows between you and me, we're good type shit. And so Hernan Cortez gets there and everything's good. He's learning the ways. Montezuma's giving him bags and bags and bags of gold, and Hernan Cortez is like, "Hell yeah, I'm gonna send this back to the king. He's gonna fucking suck me off or something." I shouldn't say that to my sweet Hernan Cortez, dude. I would never. It's all hypothetical. And then shit really hits the fan. Like Montezuma, he was a leader for 17 years, right? And the people started viewing him as weak, like, hey, there's foreigners coming in, he's telling you what to do. Some might say that Montezuma had Stockholm syndrome. I feel like he definitely did. But the thing that really pissed Hernan Cortez off, he was very cordial with their society. Obviously, they're on the other side of the fucking world. They've never even met anyone from Europe. They don't know the culture. So their culture is obviously going to be very, very, very um, particular and isolated. But him going at to the top of these temples that they had and seeing just literal hundreds and hundreds of skulls, human skulls and bones, and all these sacrificial elements at the top, he was like, yo, like, you guys need Jesus, like for real. And seeing people get killed on the daily, definitely was like, hey, I feel like my life is to be like, yo, guys, you guys can follow Jesus Christ, Jesus Christo, and you don't have to be killing people with obsidian, dude, because their freaking religion, they had hundreds of gods. Quetzalcoatl, I think, I don't know how to fucking say it, but I think he was the number one. And they would make sacrifices to him, and they literally would round up the virgins, dude, round up all the virgins, and hey, yeah, they were like, yo, in order for the sun to come up tomorrow, I'm gonna have to yeet your ass down these temple stairs. I'm gonna have to. The sun's not gonna come up unless I do that. And then boom, we'll just like kick them off. And then and they'd be like, if you guys want rain, you guys want rain, you guys want botanical gardens, you want these sick botanical gardens, dude. I'm going to have to gather up all the virgins, cut their hearts out with obsidian knives, and feed them to the gods, dude. And then Hernan Cortez and his boys were like, dude, this is rough, man. This is rough, regardless of who you are. I know you want to be sympathetic to people, but I'm shading him in this light where he definitely had slaves, dude. He definitely had slaves. I don't. There's right now I'm having this internal dialogue with me. Was he a good dude? Maybe not. I mean, he was pushing Jesus Christos and a better way of life on these guys, which was definitely better than killing virgins with obsidian. Are you kidding me? But then on the other hand, they did have slaves. They did force women into slavery. In the book, they say they were what was the term? Like they were like the maids, dude. They're like maids. I'm trying to think of the word. Whenever fucking dude, it'll come to me. Um, but yeah, no, not cool there. However, one of the slaves he brought happened to carry smallpox, and all of the Spaniards were immune to it because they had smallpox as kids. None of the people in Azteca had it. So the numbers were stacked completely against him. It was like 18 to 1 in terms of one Spanish soldier to an Azteca soldier. And the smallpox just wiped everyone out. Like that is when I'm like, dude, that feels like divine intervention. Personally, that does. Um, but Hernan Cortez was never really hostile or wanting to take them over. He just wanted to have this partnership to get their gold. But there was a political skirmish or a political rival came into Mexico City, and Hernan Cortez had to leave the city and leave Montezuma under the care of Alvarado, someone underneath him, to go fight off this political enemy. And as he was gone, the Aztecs had this whole religious festival. And Alvarado and his boys the whole time were like, "Yo, they're just plotting to kill us because they couldn't speak. They couldn't speak." Oh, after this story, I got to talk about Sweet Malinche, dude. How could I forget Sweet Malinche? They couldn't speak the language with any of them. So they were like, yo, they're plotting to kill us because they're obviously setting up sacrifices because it's a religious festival. Even though they said, you guys shouldn't be doing this, you guys need Jesus Christos. Hernan Cortez was like, yo, we got to keep him happy. So we keep getting the gold to send back to the king. They're like, I do it, I guess. And then they're sitting there. Everyone's gathering up in this festival and they start doing this religious dance. And Alvarado's like, yo, dude, they're going to kill us. Let's just murk fucking thousands of them first so we don't die. So he kills about a bunch of them. I'm so casual with this, it's insane. And then Hernan Cortez gets word, comes back, whole city's pissed. Everyone wants them to leave. They want to kill all of them, take revenge. Like thousands of people had just died. So Hernan Cortez was like, yo, Montezuma, do something. And Montezuma was like, dude, you guys killed thousands of people. They think I'm your prisoner. My word means nothing. And the Spaniards try to leave at night. A bunch of them die. What was it called? Triste something, dude. Triste. And then the rest I don't want to spoil. Do I not want to spoil? Did I not finish the book? We'll never know, dude. We'll never know. Malinche, dude. Sweet Malinche. She was a slave. Her parents sold her into slavery. She came from a noble household. They sold her into slavery. And she ended up a slave that met Hernan Cortez, and then she started translating everything, dude. All these tribes had different dialects, and she learned Spanish from being a slave, and then knew all these other dialects, and then was able to communicate with Montezuma and Hernan Cortez. And she was a slave that just became a translator. And if it wasn't for her, where would this world be, dude? Shout out Malinche. Would never let you guys forget about her. Um, I feel like that was a great breakdown on a story that I listened to while I was vacuuming my car, dude. So that's wrap up. Shout out to 250, dude. Shout out 250 for America. That's pretty cool. Could go into a lot of stories here, but I'll keep this one Frank, dude. Ben Frank. I'll keep it. Um, I'm still debating on if Ben Frank was that guy or if he wasn't. All the signs are pointing towards him being that guy, dude. Him being that guy. And he was for sure the first like American dream, right? Benny Frank, did father a bastard. Oh, this is the craziest story that no one ever even thinks of. I'm trying to think. A while back I read Walter Isaacson. I'm just trying to the Walter Isaacson biography on Benjamin Franklin, and I'm just trying to see if I have any reading comprehension because I when I'm reading these books, I'm like, dude, no fucking shot. I remember this shit. Um, but he had fathered a bastard, and he when he grew up, he became the governor of New Jersey, no, Pennsylvania, and he was loyal to the Redcoats, and Ben Frank was in Great Britain when the John Adam and the boys, Samuel Adam and the boys started getting rowdy, dude. And he was like, "Fuck, do I pick England? Do I pick the Patriots?" And then he was like, "Ah, these British dudes are pissing me off. They're not listening to me." And then so he chose the Patriots, and then his son was a traitor because he was with the Redcoats, and then he got imprisoned, dude. He got imprisoned. Um, yeah, dude. One thing I do think is crazy reading old biographies is we learn about who these guys are based on their freaking letters, bro. They were writing letters to people, and in that time, the elites obviously knew that people were reading their letters. Like if you're Benjamin Franklin, you're like my letters are getting read for sure. Um, so he had to be very methodical and on who he's writing to. But then some of them he let them slip. It's like, dude, it's like your text messages right now if you do end up becoming famous or someone within history, like Donald Trump's text message threads are gonna be saved, right? Or anyone coming up right now that becomes famous later on in life. Like, dude, if I do become famous at one point in my life, I'm cooked, bro. I'm cooked. They're gonna go look back in my group chats with my boys, and I'm cooked, dude. I'm just don't look at the stickers, dude. I got to go back in and delete all the stickers that I've ever seen in my boys in the group chat. Dude, we're fucked. We're fucked. Anyways, but Benjamin Franklin was a naughty, naughty man. He was a naughty, naughty man. He loved, and I loved how this book was like, in his letters, we could never confirm or deny. It's always that saying, could never confirm or deny if he was getting funky dunky with these women, dude. All they had was he had women sitting on his lap. Someone came in and a woman was sitting on his lap, dude. That's all we got from Benny Frank, dude. Even though he was a deadbeat dad, lived on the other side of the world, was never with his wife, she kept being like, Benjamin, please come home, Benjamin. And he'd be like, nah, I gotta do politicking, baby. I gotta do politicking. I cannot come home. I'm sorry about that. And she was scared to ride on boats. And mind you, that's crazy, dude. Riding a boat from, and probably a very shitty boat from Great Britain to the Americas. It's got to be pretty scary. And she didn't want to do it. And Benjamin Franklin was like, score, dude, score. I'm about to get my lap sat on, dude. And yeah, 250 years though, without that man, he did do a lot for this country. A lot of politicking, and he was just that dude. He was that dude. He grew up being he was a publisher. He owned a newspaper at a very young age and became extremely popular. Yeah, man. Shout out Benjamin Franklin, dude. Being a dad is cool, even though he was the father of a bastard child. Still that boy, dude. Still that boy. Speaking of boys, not bastards. Come on. So we're moving away from history and we're moving to his story, dude. We're going to his story. Today I was driving in my car, dude. Driving in my car. Me and my wife were having a very it wasn't like it was just an adult conversation. It wasn't anything crazy. It was just like kids can't comprehend what we're talking about. We're talking about stuff really deep. And my son does this thing where he keeps going, dad, 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 and then until I snap, I'm like, what? What is it? Because I'm sitting up here talking nonsense, and then I'm spazzing. I'm like, what is it? What is it? No joke. His this is what he goes. Um, um, do wolves swim? And I could not stop laughing because I was so serious, and for some reason I thought this little man had a very in-depth question to ask me back there. Like Yo, how did Hernan Cortes conquer the Aztec, dude? How do you do that? And but his question was so simple, do wolves swim? But it was more like, do wolves swim? And when I was done laughing, I was like, you know what, dude? I can't say. I literally can't say. I don't know if I've ever seen a wolf swim or not. If they did, would they doggy paddle? Were they woofy paddle? I don't really know. And I felt like I let my boy down. So if you guys know if wolf dudes swim, that'd be huge. That'd be huge, man. Yeah, I hate to say this too. I'm not really ashamed of it. I wear it on my chest, but um, Love Island's pretty sick, dude. It's not sick because the shit they do on there. It's sick because we've collectively, as a society, viewed a show that is so apparently it is the dumbest fucking show of all time with the dumbest people of all time, and we think it is amazing television. And I'm not. There is a group, or sex that is the primary. Dude, and I'm talking shit, and I can't even say the word primary. I'm getting hot, dude. I'm getting hot. Fuck you guys. There is a sex that's the primary driver of the viewership of this, and I won't say who it is because I'm a contributor to it. I am, all right? I'm a contributor. Oh, that's how you know when I can't fucking speak anymore. I'm getting too hot. It's in the middle of fucking July, and I'm sitting in the car in fucking Oklahoma, dude. What do you want me to do about it? I'm acting like it's y'all's problem when it's completely my problem. So, Love Island stupid, soccer stupid. I'm gonna go out on a limb, dude. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I think Conor McGregor's gonna win. I think, and I'm not even a big Conor guy. I just think people are sleeping on him right now, and I think he's gonna win. And I refuse to edit any of these. So if he does not win, I'm retarded, dude. I'm retarded. Shout out.